Okay. How many hated the homework assignment? Yay, good, thank you for being honest. It's hard. All right, I'm gonna tell you, they're paying me to do something all weekend long. I kept waiting for somebody to email me saying, I'm stuck on number 3 or I'm stuck on number 5. And then I go and work it, and then I'll send you a picture of what I get with a little explanation for each step. But I didn't hear from anybody this weekend. So, number 1, after you try it twice, skip it, email me, or email your best friends that you're sitting next to now or somebody in your group. Get their email, get their email number, get something to help you get some help. Or you go to the tutor center if you're able to do that. Or you can go online to the tutor center and work with them in your jammies at your home, eating breakfast or bagels or whatever you might be eating. But you don't sit and, stew over it for a weekend. When you get stuck, email me, send me a picture of what you got, because it's very important you send me a picture of what you got, because then I can look and see what you're doing wrong, and that's what you wanna understand. What am I doing wrong and what should I do right? So I'll tell you what you do wrong, and then I'll show you what you should be doing right, and that's called learning, that's good stuff. Okay? Now, today, you're gonna have your quiz that's on your desk. I wanna go over a little bit, I nicely folded it for you. I nicely put your seat number back on it, and you need to do that today. If you took that seat number with you, it's a stick-on, so it's really easy just to slap it on anything you hand into me. And it's nice for me to look at, and then I put them in numeric order, and I'm ready to pass them out the next day. So it makes my life a little easier, and you get your stuff back faster, and you get your grades into D2L faster, because I don't have to sit and, look at names and who's sitting in what seat. You're just in number as far as anything you hand into me. So always put your number on whatever you're gonna hand into me. If you forget the number at home, just learn this number for the next 6 weeks. Alright? This quiz that you're taking right now is going to be a group quiz. And you're gonna be working on it with your group that we built last week. Right? So there's 4 of you in your, so at the end of class, you'll be able to work on this with your group. I'm gonna tell you, when I grade a group quiz, it's even harder than when it's an individual quiz, because I'm looking for all the steps, and your quiz should be perfect. So it's not copying, your partner who you're sitting next to's answer. If you have all the perfect answers in the answer space, but you don't have a stick of work, you get a 0 out of 10. If you didn't hand in your quiz last Thursday, you need to hand in 2 quizzes to me, so you'll just slide it inside this one when you're done. You're also going to turn in your homework to me when you're done. If you don't have it done, you can keep it and turn it in on Wednesday, just put it, at the top that it's Monday's homework or whatever. Homework I'm not real concerned with. Quizzes, when I ask for them to be done, they need to be done on the day that we're doing it, unless I give you a take-home quiz. Questions on that? Okay, today's lesson, we need to start the lesson, so put the quizzes away, and then you're going to be working on these quizzes with your group when I finish with today's lesson. Are we okay with this, Tim? Is it working?
I think so.
Okay. Tim is going to record the lesson, just because. Try to record the lesson. If you want him to send it to you, you gotta contact him. But I need everybody to raise their hand saying it's okay for him to record it. 1, 2, 3. Is it okay for him to record it? Raise your hand, please.
Is it not okay with anybody?
Okay, let's do it that way. Is it not okay with anybody? You're so smart, Tim. Good idea. Okay, so it's gonna be recorded, and that means you might be in his video at some point if you walk up here, or, I don't know, but we just wanna make sure that you all understand that, okay? All right, legal wise. All right. So today, what I want you guys to do is this. I want you, oops, how did I get here? I want you to answer these 3 questions. Look up here. These 3 questions. It's not hard. And I want one person in your seat number. So if you look around the room, do you see how it's got your seat numbers around the room? They're real close by you. So you're gonna discuss with the person whose seat number is 1 and 2, that's the guy that's sitting, or gal that's sitting next to you. You're gonna answer these 3 questions, and you're gonna go write them on your whiteboard. Ready? Go, talk. Answer these questions. Go write it on your board. Go. Go, somebody write them. You don't both have to go, you can just discuss it.
How old are you driving? AZ?
For drive, are you talking permit or license?
License.
For
Be in a
18,
big
right?
car all by yourself.
21 to drink.
It's 18, right?
How old are both?
21. Is it? Is it 21?
Arizona?
Actually?
No, it's 18. No, it's 18. 18 to vote. 18 to vote. 21 to
Changed
drink.
that in California after
21 to
he
drink.
got hit by a train.
There you go.
Yeah.
Number 2 is what? Okay, anyway.
Okay, raise your hand if you drove to class today. Raise your hand if you drove to class today.
I can't legally answer that.
Almost everybody drove to class today? All right. Raise your hand if you're 16. You guys all broke the law.
Oh, syntax, what'd you ask? Oh, or older. Greater than, or equal to.
Everyone in the room got the wrong answer. You know why? Because I've trained you over the first week of this class to be concrete, sequential. You gotta come up with the right number, or you're gonna feel bad, or you think you did something wrong. You see, every one of you said, how old do you have to be to drive in Arizona? And the answer is, you gotta be greater than or equal to 16. See, I drove to class today, I'm not 16. You guys all drove to class, and you all have different ages, but you're not breaking the law, because I have your brain set to be this. I gotta come up with the right answer, or she's gonna mark it wrong. Now, I did this on purpose so that you'll remember today's lesson. Next question was, how old do you have to be to vote? Raise your hand if you're 18. Oh, boy, I got a big, no. Are you 18?
Yeah.
You are? Sweet thing. Okay. If you're 18, yeah, you can vote, but I'm not 18, I'm 72, and I can vote. So again, the answer to the problem is that you have to be greater than or equal to 18. How many of you indulged in a beverage that was something that you can't drink unless you're at a certain age in the last 5 years? Nobody? Thank you for being honest. And everybody in the room says you gotta be 21. Raise your hand if you're exactly 21. Okay, I got one person that can drink in this room, the rest of us can't. Based on the answers around the room. That again is because you're very concrete, sequential, you wanna come up with the right answer, cause you feel good when you come up with the right answer. Today's lesson is all about an imbalance. We're moving from this kind of problem to these kind of problems that have what I used to call, when I used to teach this in Illinois, the alligators. And the alligators say, you're not on a teeter-totter and it's not balanced the way it was last week. It means one side is bigger than the other side. Last week, I told you my puppy is 3 years old and you better know, remember that. Today, I'm gonna say to you, my puppy is greater than 3. I can't remember how old she is, but she's definitely older than 3. Or this one where she's 3 or older. Or this one here, I'm saying, my puppy isn't 3 yet, she's younger than 3. Or this one where she's 3 or younger. Do you see the difference? You see, math, we have to take words and we have to change it into symbols. And not all the answers are very concrete, sequential, and you have to come up with the right number. You gotta give me a boundary of the right numbers. Now, in this class, look up here. This is a slide from my 92 class. This isn't new stuff. You got into this class because they said you can assess into it. Now, you might be looking at me going, I never remembered any of this stuff. That's okay. I'm gonna teach you what you should know, but you gotta have this somewhere in your brain by the time you start your homework. Your answers for today's homework, you're gonna come up with what we call an algebra answer. Then they're gonna ask you to put it in interval notation, and then they're gonna ask you to graph it. Now, I gave you examples of the greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. You always read the symbol on the variable side. So I look for the variable and I see a big mouth first. That means it's a greater than. If I go to the variable and I see a little point first, that's a less than. That's how you keep track of which one is which. If not, you can look at your notes. Interval notation is a math shortcut for this graphing. It says, I want all the numbers that are greater than 3. And this side word A stands for infinity, positive infinity. If you have a side word 8 with a minus sign, it means you want all those numbers smaller than 3. If you want the whole number line, we do this. We put negative infinity, positive, comma, positive infinity. This says you want every number your brain can think of.
Is that all real numbers?
Yes.
Okay. But we're going to write all real numbers as negative infinity
To positive infinity,
to
yep.
positive infinity.
Yep. Now, I'm not teaching this, but you have it in your notes. Look how I highlight things. So if you have a highlighter, you might want to be highlighting what I did here. These two are exactly the same math problem. These two are exactly the same math problem, but the one in yellow, is written backwards. Notice when I start with the variable, next to the variable is a big mouth, so I know that this is x is greater than 3. If I start with the variable on this yellow piece over here, notice the big mouth is still next to the x. So we still read from the variable through the inequality symbol and then the number. So I want all numbers greater than 3. Now, I want you to discuss with your group. Just whoever's sitting next to you. Nobody sitting next to you, move over a little bit. Were you here last Thursday?
No.
Okay, you need to come over here and sit at number 18, and then you'll have all your supplies. Okay, and you're by yourself here, look at me. So you need to move over just a little bit, and we'll move this away. All right, or you can turn behind you, whatever you wanna do. What's the difference between the top two lines? Talk to your person. You guys in the back? And there'll be a threesome back there, or you can go, Isabel, turn around and,
I mean, the top two lines that we see here, right?
right here, what's the difference between these two?
Okay, well, okay, those are both,
The difference between less than 5.
below that, it's supposed to.
No, quit going ahead.
Less than 5.
What's the difference between the top line?
And one is less than.
Nothing, they're the same.
The same.
Nothing,
No.
not a darn thing. And if I would have given you a quiz and you wrote on the quiz x equals 5 or 5 equals x, I wouldn't mark them wrong, they're both correct. Now, go to the red line, what's the difference between those two? Talk to your group.
Right, so if you were to, yeah, you can't change things around a greater than or equal sign, I mean, you can around an equal sign, I said that right.
Talk to your group, not your phone.
It's not equivalency, so the word.
What's the difference between those two reds?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're just written backwards, the same way this one's written backwards. Notice, look, you always check, you know, if they give you one answer and yours is written backwards, you go to the variable and you see what point or big mouth is next to the variable. This has a little point next to variable. If I go to this one, it still has the little point next to the variable, and you always read it from the variable through the inequality to the number. So this is read as x is less than 5. This guy is also read as x is less than 5. They're both written they're written backwards, but when we read them, they're exactly the same. There's nothing different. I want all the numbers that are less than 5. So in interval notation, I put the 5 on the right, and I put negative infinity on the left because I want numbers less than this guy. When I graph it, I do a soft curve, and I shade to the left because I want all the numbers less than 5. Okay, what's different between the two blue? Discuss it with your group. You guys are quiet now. You go, man, I've been wrong 2 times. There's nothing different between the two blue problems. They're just written backwards the same way this is written backwards. This still says x equals 5. This still says you want all the numbers less than or equal to 5. So in interval notation, we use a hard bracket. I call this a hard bracket. I call this guy up here a soft bracket. The hard bracket means you want to include the boundary, such as to drink, you can be 21 or older. So that would have a hard bracket. To vote, you have to be 18 or older, so that would have a hard bracket. To drive is hard bracket 16 to positive infinity. So this guy here, there's nothing different between those two blue. Now you're getting smart. Hopefully. Is there any difference between the red and the green?
Yes.
Besides the color? look at the X and see whether we have the little nose next to the X or the big mouth of the alligator next to the X. I'm going back to my high school days. Alright, so I look and I see X has a little point next to it, so it means I want all the little numbers less than that 5. When I come over here, I look for the X, and I go, oh, the little point isn't next to the X, it's got a big mouth, so it means you want all the bigger numbers than this. So when we say, what's the difference between these two, we say everything. The red one looks like this when we write it in interval notation. The green one looks like that in interval notation. Graphing the red, we want all the numbers less than. Graphing the green, we want all the numbers greater than. If I talk too fast, take your phone out, take a picture of it, that's fine, you can do it that way. If you want to, a video of it, then you need to talk to Tim here before you leave, and maybe he'll be nice enough to send it to you. But that's in interval notation. That's everything that we went over in the 92 class, if you had a 92 class in the last couple years. All right, those were all called answers to inequalities. You have to give me the algebra answer, interval notation, and graph it. Now, I'm not going to give you the answers, I'm going to give you a math problem. And to solve a linear inequality, how do I know I have an inequality? You're going to see those inequality symbols, not an equal sign. Today, there's no new math except one new thing. And that is with the exception. If you got a highlighter, you want to underline that. If you don't have a highlighter, underline it with your pencil. With the exception, when you multiply or divide each side of an inequality by a negative number, negative is bad, you have to change the direction of the inequality in the next step. Next step, not that step, next step. Here's a math problem, just like you did the very first day of class, except first day of class you had an equal sign here. So I'm not teaching you any new math parts. All I'm teaching you is you gotta switch the inequality sign around or not. So it's in the second to the last step, right before you get your answer, you wanna look, and I have to divide each side by 2, do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you divide each side by 2, since that is a positive number, I'm just gonna bring down my inequality sign and get my answer using my calculator and brain, no big deal. If I do this problem over here to switch or not to switch, that is the question. I get down to negative 2x is less than -6. Notice I'm keeping that inequality sign exactly what it is in the original problem, but right here, that's the bad guy. And as soon as you divide each side by a negative number, what you have to do is switch the inequality sign around. If it has a little point next to the X, you gotta make it a big mouth.
After you divide, right?
After you
Forgot
divide,
about that.
the last step. Now, if they ask you to write this in interval notation, you gotta read this and understand what you're reading. If you substitute in X for all numbers, I want all numbers, what? Less than, little point first, so it's all numbers less than -3. Your -3 is over here, and if you want less than, you need a negative infinity. Okay? To graph it, you would have a soft curve at the 3, and you want all the numbers less than 3. That's how I would show my graph. Don't forget to shade in the arrow too. I take off a point if you don't shade the arrow. So I come over to this side and it says, I want all the numbers greater than 3. If you want numbers bigger than the number I give you, we need a positive infinity on the right side, and the 3 comes first. So I want 3, and everything bigger, it's gotta be on the right. If you want everything smaller than that, negative infinity has to be on the left. Yeah,
What do you mean by shade?
That's what I was gonna ask.
oh, down here, when you go and graph, I want 3, all the numbers greater than 3, I'm gonna put a soft curve at the 3, and then either with a highlighter or your pencil, I just go like this, and you shade in the arrow, cause that tells you that it keeps going on forever and ever, but you get tired. Good question. That's a review of the Math 92, and I used to spend an hour and 15 minutes just teaching those 3 slides. Now you're in the 97, so I reviewed it with you. Now you gotta study it. If you haven't had math for 5 years, you're gonna have to study that. But you assessed into this class, so you either need to come see me before class, after class, we'll go over it again and again until it clicks. You need to go to the tutor, you need to talk to whoever's sitting next to you and get some help. Okay? All right, now, this is new material. Put a star on this next slide. New material. This is not in the 92 class, this is your class. And this, they're saying, you gotta teach these folks what's called compound inequalities. What the heck is a compound inequality? Again, I give you weird examples to try to help you remember it, like I did when you went to the board. Now, I'm gonna just sit back and relax. Here's some pictures of some guys. One of these guys is my husband. Don't pick the old fart, because I'm an old fart. One of these guys is my husband. An example of a compound inequality is using some words to describe my husband. If I say to you, my husband is tall, write down all the numbers of what you think are tall guys. Go ahead, write it on your paper, right underneath the word tall. Tall, put the numbers right here. Tall.
Is there a range that we're given, or just out of?
Either 1 through 9, or lots of them if you think a lot of them are tall. How many are tall?
4.
4 tall guys? I'd say so too. Did you write down number 1? He looks pretty tall. Did you write down number 3? He looks pretty tall. How about Mr. 8? Tall. How about 9? Tall. So we have 1, we have 3, we have 8, and we have 9. Now, I'm going to use the word or. He's blonde. He's got blonde hair. Write down the blondes in this group. Who's blonde in this group that you can see? You go, that one kid's got a helmet on, I don't know. So we won't count him as a blonde. What would you write down?
5, 6, 9.
5, 6, and 9. Because I use the word or, we would say my husband's either a 1, he's a 3, he's a 5, he's a 6, he's an 8, or he's 9. Do you know who my husband is yet? Could be, or I'm married to a lot of guys, one of the 2, right? Because I use the word or, we gotta put everybody into that group. So we list everybody that is a potential husband for me. But if I use the word and, It's another kind of compound inequality using the word and. Both things have to be true. So if I tell you my husband is tall and a blonde, which one is he? Number 9. It's the only one he could be. Because I look at these two groups, and when I use the word and, it's gotta be true for both. You know who my husband is? Don't have wish. Cute guy.
So, right.
Do you see the difference between the word or and the word and? Yes or no? Now, that's not a math story, that's my life story. So now let's go back to math. In math, when I give you compound inequalities, you're gonna see it because you have two math problems connected by the word and or. Now you're going, I'm never gonna use this, and nor do I care about who your husband is. But if I tell you, in order to get out of Pima College, you have to have a C in this class. Now again, it's sort of like our beginning little experiment around the room. What's the C in math class? You have to end up with an average of a C. So what scores are those? 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 79.99, you know, all the decimals in between. So in order to represent C's in my class, if I use the word and, that's the C's. Because the grades have to be greater than or equal to 70, and it's gotta be less than the 79. So it's sort of like two boundaries and you want everything in between. Called a compound inequality. If I use the word or, how does that change it? Well, I want all the numbers greater than 70 goes this way, or less than 79 goes that way, so that means we go past those other boundary points, means you want the whole number line. So if I give you this compound and say you get to pass and leave Pima with this scenario, it means you can get a 0 on everything I give you and you're out of here. But when I use the word and, I'm being very specific. I want what's in common to both groups. Yep.
So won't this usually show up as, I'm used to seeing that as a longer number line that you will shade two different areas on. There will be a gap for or.
There's no gap for or on this one because they overlap.
Oh, they overlap.
You see this arrow starts here and goes that way, this arrow starts at 79, goes that way. If I want or, it means I get to pick everybody in the group as my husband. But when it's and, I only want the ones that are in common to both. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I'm sorry, is there a particular reason why we didn't use the hard brackets for these?
Very good. Oh, I did the hard brackets here, but I didn't do the hard brackets here because the other one includes it. So both of them are overlapping, so I want everybody. Good question. I love it when you make me think. All right, so what's your homework going to look like? This is what your homework is going to look like. You gotta pay attention to the word and or the word or. So, I'm gonna give you this kind of problem and you're gonna look, boy, this is pretty easy because we did this problem the first day of class, except there was an equal sign there. You're gonna do the same process. You subtract 3, you don't have to copy anything in notes, just look up here, it's all in your notes. But now we get x is less than -2 because I'm adding a negative to both sides. That doesn't change the inequality. It's only if you multiply or divide that we gotta flip the inequality sign. So I want x is less than -2. I want all the numbers less than -2, going to the left of -2, and I want all the numbers that are greater than -8. Now you're going, I don't know. Well, if you can get this on your paper, you'll get 4 out of 5 points. But the problem's gonna ask you to give me an interval notation and graph it. So how do we do that? If you're new to math and this doesn't make sense to you, you graph both, you do 2 number lines and you graph them both. When the word is and, you want common shading. Where do you have both pink and blue? Well, if you do your 2 number lines underneath each other, it's right in this area. That's my husband that I'm asking you to find. I want him less than -2, so that's -2 and less goes to the left. And I want -8 and greater, see how it says greater than -8? So I'm going this way. Where I have both colors, this is the solution that I'm looking for. So you have to do a third graph. If I say graph the solution, you gotta do a third graph like this. Notice I have soft curves on both because they're not or equal to. The interval notation looks like this. I think that's what you were saying. There's your boundaries. I want all the numbers between -8 and +2, or -2, sorry, -2, not +2. Here is my husband. My husband's in this group right here. He's not in the blue group, he's not in the pink group, but he is in the area that has both pink and blue.
What
That's an and.
Sorry. Oh, sorry, go. What I had actually said earlier was, since I didn't notice that they were actually overlapping, that there, since that it was actually including all those numbers, that's why I was expecting to see 2 different number lines. So let's say that this involved
You do have
-8
two.
through, what's that?
You do have 2 number lines.
Yes, but those overlap.
Yes.
Now, if they, I just thought, if they didn't overlap, they could go on the same,
Well, let me get to my next one. You're always 2 steps ahead of me, which is good.
okay?
All right, so let's try a new problem. It's an and statement, so that means I want what's in common. My husband is tall and blonde. I want what's in both groups. I don't want just one group or the other. I want just the one that's both of those characteristics. So this is an and. You gotta remember, and wants common. So I want all the numbers greater than 1. When I solve this, subtract 2 from both sides that we did the first day of class, we get x is greater than 1. That's the orange line. Do you see that? My husband is greater than 1. I go and solve the blue one over here, x is less than -2. Here's -2, less than means I gotta go to the left. If it's greater than, you go to the right. So less than -2 goes to the left. Now, to find my husband, he's gotta have both of those things true. What do they have in common? Nothing. Zippo. So there's an example where the 2 sets don't overlap, and it's an and statement. The orange is good for the orange answer, the blue is good for the blue answer, but because I connected them with the word and, your solution here is empty set. Now write that down, because there is nothing in common. Nothing in common. That's the and. Husband is tall and blonde. Let's go to a special and. Again, this is new material. This is called a compound inequality, and it's a special and. we do a lot of these. I call it the hamburger problem. Oh, this lady's weird and lost the lottery. Okay, when you have two inequalities in one problem, you go, what the heck is this? Well, here is your lower hamburger bun, here's the upper hamburger bun, and what's in the middle is called the meat. Your job is to get Mr. X by itself. Really, this is a lazy mathematician's problem because it's really this problem that's in blue on your paper. I'm not making you write it. It's this problem written as a shortcut. Now, how do I know I get to use the shortcut? Do you see the green blobs up here? Are they exactly the same? When one part of an inequality matches the same part in the other and they use the word and, we can write it like a hamburger. Put the meat in the middle and then put your inequality, see it's greater than -3 and it's less than 17. That's all they did. It's a special and problem, but I love these. Because you only have to do one problem instead of solving two over here. These are fun. How do we do it? Your goal is to get the variable by itself in the middle. Underline the word middle. We got to get that variable by itself. Now, how do we do that? We do exactly the way we did for this problem or this one. We have to subtract 1, correct? But now watch. All you do is subtract 1 3 times. You do it on the bottom bun, you do it on the top bun, and you do it in the middle. Over here we get a -4. Well, I'll do it here, -4, right? And then over here, 17 take away 1 is 16. Oh, cool. And notice in the middle, it goes away. Just like it did the first day of class, when it was an equal sign. Now what do I have to do for this one? Our goal is to get Mr. X by itself in the middle. What do I have to do to get rid of that -4? Divide by -4. Ooh. What happens with inequalities when we divide by -4? The last step, what do you have to do? Ooh, switch the signs.
Oof, I didn't switch the, okay.
Both hamburger buns, the bottom bun and the top bun. So I want all the numbers, look at, I'm reading it, I want all the numbers, notice how I read this, greater than -4 and less than 1. I'm describing to you what my husband looks like. He's gotta be greater than -4, but less than 1. Greater than -4, but less than 1. Greater than -4, and he's less than +1. So these guys are like your boundaries that you're going to put soft curves on the 1 and the -4, and when it's an and, you want what's in between, what's in common. Yes or no? Yes? Okay. When are we ever gonna use this stuff? Never! Yes, you do. Every day of your life when you're in a class and you go, God, I wish I could get a B in this class. God, I wish I could just get a C so I don't have to repeat this blasted course ever again. I never want to take a math course again, I just want a C. And I don't have to take a math course ever again. Maggie had a score of 56 on her first exam. Did she do very well? She failed it. Hopefully that's none of you. She got a 68 on the second exam. Is she doing better? Is she gonna pass the class? Now I'm gonna see her again next semester. The third exam, Maggie got a 76. Oh, you're gonna have 3 exams in this class. She got a 76. Is she doing better? Yeah, there's hope for her. Because in my class, if you do better on the final exam, I'm gonna wipe out that 56 if she gets a 75 or better. So Maggie's got hope. She's got that final exam. Some of you, the last day of class, are gonna come up to me and say, can I pass this class? I'm gonna say, go find the Maggie example. Because that could be you. She's gotta take a final exam. That's her 4th exam. This is a hamburger problem. Do you believe it? Maggie's gonna come up to me and says, can I at least get a C and pass your class? I'll have C again next semester. And I'll say, go to Maggie and put a hamburger down. You want 70 or bigger. She wants to, you know, her chances of getting an A in my class are pretty darn slim. Do you agree? Okay? So she wants to get less than 80, but she wants to get greater than or equal to 70, and then she doesn't have to take my class again. Oh, you mean I'm teaching you math that you can actually use? Yeah. Okay, so we have a hamburger. Do you see that? Bottom bun, the meat, and then the top bun. Whatever you do in the meat, you gotta do on the 2 buns also. So I got a fraction down there. What do I have to do first? How do I get rid of a fraction? LCD. You see that on your paper? What's the LCD? What is it for this problem?
4.
You gotta get rid of that green 4. We gotta get rid of the you gotta get rid of fractions in my class. So the LCD is 4. Now watch the work I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a 4 on the bottom bun, put a 4 for the middle bun, the hamburger, and put a 4 over for the top bun. Because I gotta get rid of that 4, but to keep the inequality the same, I've gotta do the same thing 3 different sections. 4 times 70, 280. You don't have to write anything. I'm making you just watch. This goes away, and what did I do? I took my calculator and added all her points she has so far. 56, 68, 76 is 200 plus x, less than, and then I multiplied the right side of the hamburger bun by 4. I got 320. Your goal, when it's a hamburger, is to get that x by itself in the middle. What do I have to do?
Right, 200.
Subtract 200, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And when you do that, that's her scores she has to get on her final exam to not see me again the next semester. She's gotta get at least an 80 on her final exam. Can she? Yeah, she started with an F, a D, a C. She's learning how to study, but has she mastered it? No, but she could do it by that final exam. If she really studies, gets help, you know, gets a study group going, do something to really understand that final. So here it is in interval notation. She's gotta get at least an 80. She can get up to 120. Now, is there 120 points possible? No. She has to get 100% or an 80, somewhere in that range. And that's her husband for this class. That's the one that's not gonna have her repeat the class. In words, she has to get between what? 80 and 120 on the final. Now what happens if Maggie came to me and said, I want to get a B. Can I get a B in this class? I'll say, go find the Maggie problem. But now what's going to be the left bun? 80. What's going to be the right bun? 89, or if you use greater than or less than 90, yeah. So if you wanted a B in the class, you'd be putting an 80 to an 89 in the class. If she wants an A in the class, you wouldn't have the bottom bun, you just put greater than 90. Am I teaching you crap? No, this is your life. This is what your instructors do last day of class, when you go on Banner and you wanna look and say, what grade did I get in my class? This is what my computer program's doing for you. It's adding up all your scores, adding in your final exam, dividing by how many points I have. I gave you that on your syllabus. And voila, you get your grade. It's not just, ooh, I like you, you get an A, ooh, I don't like you, you get an F. You're earning those points by doing the homework, doing the quizzes. Okay. Let's go to OR. An OR statement. When you have a solution that it's an OR, it means my husband can either be in this group or he can be in this group and it's the whole class. It's not as specific. It can be from one group or the other. So when you have an OR, you graph your two equations and your final solution will have both graphs. If they don't overlap, you gotta put both of them down going in opposite directions. Now, this is the hard part, interval notation. Watch. When your two graphs are in opposite directions, you wanna write this down, opposite directions. This is how you write your interval notation. I never learned this until I started teaching in Arizona in 2006. We never did this in Illinois, so it's like, oh, okay, but it's really tricky. You want to use this symbol here. It's a U, and U stands for union. I don't know if you were taught that in grade school where you had union and intersection, but this this U means union. So in other words, you want to unite both sets. That's what that stands for. That's how I remember it. Unite both graphings. And then I'm going to put the red interval. I want all the numbers less than -3, so my negative infinity comes first. And then I put my top number, and it's a hard curve because it's an or equal to. Then to do the blue, I put the 2 and a positive infinity because I want all the numbers bigger than 2. And then you gotta put that U in between it. Unite. It means take all the people from the red graph, take all the people from the blue graph, and U means you want them all together. My husband can be in either group. That's how I remember it. I relate it to my husband. Okay.
Just, I would always just comma separate two parentheses.
Say it again.
I would always just comma separate two parentheticals.
Comma.
Yeah, an extra comma instead of the U. I've
Oh,
always just used a comma
yeah.
instead of that U.
That's not, I'll take off a point.
Okay,
Union is unite them all together.
okay.
Okay, good question. Okay, here is two math problems separated by the word or. So or means my husband can be in this group or in the group over there. So I go and solve both of them. I'm not dividing each side by negatives, so my inequalities stay the same. Here is all the numbers less than 5. You see that? Yellow. All the numbers less than or equal to 2 are in the green, and you see how they're both going in the same direction? Solution is in the same direction with an or. When they're both going in the same direction, you pick the biggest one, because that includes all the numbers. The yellow is the biggest set. Do you see that? It's got more numbers in it. So when it's an or, and they're going in the same direction, you pick the one that has the most numbers in it, so that's the yellow. So my interval is 5 or less, and my graph would just have the 5 or less. So when you have an or, And it's same direction. In your notes, see, I'm helping you when you do your homework and you go do your graph, you look and say, oh, they're in the same direction. You're going to pick the bigger set. You might
Or
want
your variable, clarify,
for your variable.
yeah.
They're
pick it
gonna
for
give you
what?
interval notation, they're gonna say, write it in interval notation, so you look and say, which one's the bigger set? It's the one that starts with yellow, so I do 5, and it's going to the left, so I put the negative infinity in front of the 5. It's an OR, so an OR wants everybody in the group.
Results are right on the line as both the.
Uh.
Results are right on the line with both the.
What you would have for a final answer would look like that.
Okay, so you don't have to write both parentheses or both brackets, just one.
Right, because they're both going in the same direction. When I go and solve this problem, it's different than this one up here. The first one's the same. The second one is different. Notice I changed the inequality of the original problem over here. Now when I go and graph x is less than 5, that's still the same yellow one that's on this side. But I want x greater than or equal to 2, that's going to the right, because I want numbers greater than 2. Now, are my 2 lines going in the same direction? No. But when there's opposite directions and an overlap, circle the word overlap, your solution will be the whole number line. So you gotta put negative infinity to positive infinity. That means it's the whole number line. Now I'm gonna do the same problems with the word and. Go to the next page. Same problems. These are exactly the same problems, exactly the same word, except I changed out the word ors and put in an and. And means I'm looking for my husband again. He's in 2 little groups and I gotta find which one is in both groups. So now, when I go and I substitute in the word and, my yellow is going this way, they're still going in the same direction. The green is still going in the same direction. When it's an and, I want to know what numbers are in common to both. My husband is in both of these groups. He plays pickleball and he plays tennis, think of it that way. Which guy is he? Well, the yellow group over here are only playing pickleball. These guys are only playing tennis, but when it's an and, you want what's in common to both. So now my interval notation starts with 2 and goes to negative infinity when they overlap and it's an and. I want the smaller group because the smaller group includes both the yellow and the green. Write yourself some notes. This is hard. When your 2 sets go in opposite directions and it has an overlap, what do you think? Where's my husband at?
Between 2 and 5.
Yeah, he's got this little section right here is where my husband can be. Where there's both yellow and green means that these 2 groups here, they're both playing both sports. They're both tall and a blonde. The word and means you gotta be in both groups. You gotta be an A student and come to class. It's not an A student or you can come to class, you gotta do both. What's my solution here between 2 and 5? That's where you'll find my husband. Now, how you remember that? I give you weird examples. I can't help you with that. It's just, I'm weird. I do things to try to help me remember. I used to sit in your seat and listen to the professor and they used to just spiel mathematical stuff at me and I was lost. So then I learned this little next technique, you gotta relate it to your life. You gotta see it where it applies to your life and you'll remember it better. That's the way I teach. You don't like it, go read your math book and you'll get the old terminologies that they used to have. That's okay too. Okay, we're gonna skip the next slide and we're gonna go to 2 pages down. On your desk is a pink sheet. You can use this pink sheet on any quiz I give you. You can use this pink sheet on any exam I give you as a resource. But it shows you how the answer looks, how to graph it, and how you write it in interval notation. So when you do your homework and you get X and then a big mouth first and any number, you just gotta change the number, you gotta change the number in the interval notation. Okay, your quiz. If you look on your quiz, did I give you a problem in your notes that looks like this, but it was about Maggie? And now I've changed this to be Paul. And Paul wants to get at least a 70 in the class. He doesn't want to get a C. He wants to get either a C, a B, or an A. So again, he got a 70 on his first test. Ooh, look, good old Paul. He must have studied differently. What did he get on the second test? 99. He did pretty darn well. He probably misspelled his name and I took off a point. But he only has 3 tests. And I only want him to get at least a C. I don't want him to get between a C. It has to be at least a C. So your math problem is 70 plus what? 99 plus one more test. Do we know what he got yet? X. We always divide by your number of tests. So if there's 4 tests, you divide by 4. If there's only 3 things you're adding, we divide by 3. And he wants to get at least a 70. So that's your clue that you gotta use an inequality. If it said he wants to get a 70, you'd put equals. But he wants at least a 70, so that's greater than or equal to what?
79.
70. He wants to get at least a C. Now, that's your equation. Now, on your quiz next Wednesday, you're not gonna have a take-home, you're not gonna have a partner situation, you're gonna have to do it yourself. But on the quiz, it's gonna be about Paul again. And it's gonna be, Paul's gonna have 2 grades, but it's not gonna be a 70 and a 79. But your equation's gonna look like, just like this, except you're gonna have to change the digits. And he might wanna get at least a B. So what number would we put on the right side if he wants to get a B? I'm giving you the quiz. An 80. If he wants to get an A, you'd put a 90. This isn't hard. I'm not trying to confuse you or get you stuck. But on the practice quiz, am I right? It's practice quiz just like this? Yeah, she's looking at her pink packet, or her yellow packet. It looks just like this. How do we start this? What do I have to do? Get rid of the what? Least common denominator. And in this case, what's my least common denominator? 3. So you gotta multiply this side by 3 and that side by 3 to get rid of the 3 here. Now you just solve 70 plus 99 plus X greater than or equal to 210 and you're on your way. Okay, I'm done. The rest of the period, and it can take as long as you want or whatever, is to get into your group of 4s. And I want you to make sure that everybody in your group has all the work, the black box, the equation, all the work to solve. I've had a couple students that will go like this. They'll put the equation down there and put, oh, the answer is 41, and no work, that's -2. And if my whole group had it, I'll say, too bad, you gotta write what your group has. Got it? So you're gonna get together in your group of twos or fours or threes. And what you're going to do is you're gonna take out your quiz for today, and you're gonna start with problem number 1 and say, does everybody have defining the unknowns? Do you have the equation? Do you have the work? Did you label the answer in the answer space? Those of you that have me before, you know I'm a stickler about labeling your answer, so help your group, okay? All right, questions? The rest of the period is yours, so turn around, or if you guys wanna turn around or sit there, you guys. Oh, you're
And us? And us?
Look at me, guys.
Yeah, this new homework is
Look.
crazy, man.
You guys right here are a group with Jennifer back, those two in back. You guys are a group,
That homework
you
is
guys should be able to help you do your job. You guys have to definitely.
This is the, yeah,
Yeah, look
You
this.
guys turn around and just say, how do you define, what
I
do you
didn't
get
even,
for
I didn't even start
problem?
yet.
You start yours?
Yeah. I did.
I don't know if I get my correct.
The second one was the.
You can use your notes, you can use your practice quiz,
Yeah, I got it.
you can use your homework.
Right. Okay.
No, just
Yeah, I
turn
was
it
open
in,
five.
you'll just get a 0, but then you just turn it in, and homework I'm not concerned about. Good question, thank you. Oh, here you go, I'm sorry.
And I guess to check your answer, you put the slide.
Proper fractions
Oh.
or
Any.
any?
But if it's a repeating decimal, like this is 7.repeating 3, then there's a repeater over it, or you write 7. In algebra, we like to keep things improper if they won't divide evenly. Work with your group, guys, this is an excellent opportunity for
Okay,
you.
so my name is TYNFINE.
It's in your syllabus, it's in your syllabus, but what you need to do is homework, I'm not concerned about, but you get zeros when it's due, and you don't have it, so you gotta make it up by the time you take the exam for that homework.
Should we do the adjustment?
Quizzes you
Yes,
can
it
use.
Cause the 5 and 10 are whole numbers.
Right.
You know, even if you have.
It was a take home day, so you were asked, you were asked.
Oh, no.
Oh, so you can
And then
turn it in.
127, and then now.
But you can't turn
So
it in
one
late.
should be X, 127.
So if you weren't here last
Because we're trying to
Monday,
discover.
they
So which one was labeled second, which was the 10s, 10s will get the third. So.
Practice, quiz, but you can't forgive everyone. Number 14, yeah, everybody did, okay.
I just need the equation.
Yeah, it's not a chart problem, let's see. First president increased to 41 cents for the first half. So, I'm mailing a package, and here's my package, and this is by the ounces. So here's the first ounce, second ounce, third ounce, and fourth ounce. Okay, so my, whatever I'm mailing to you has 4 ounces. It says the first ounce was increased to 41 cents. Okay, so that guy cost 41 cents. And then 16 cents for everyone after that.
Is
Okay.
it a consecutive one?
No. Alright, she spent this amount of money, so it's gonna equal $12.29, you agree? And she got a total of 44 stamps. So she got a total of 44 stamps, so the first one is 41 cents, but the 44 stamps, yeah, so it's 44 minus what? 1, so that's 43 is the next one.
I have different setup in mind. Yeah.
So the equation would
I'm
be
trying.
43.
We don't know how many ounces.
Times 16,
Yeah,
Yeah.
plus 41. Equals that.
yeah.
Oh, alright. Thank you.
I mean, it's just, I don't know if this.
Oh, yeah, let me see the-
Talk to your group, guys. It's to your advantage to get
This
them
one-
out. Turn around, talk to your group.
She didn't really give us the amount to set it up this way. That's what I think, but I'm not sure, I'm quite confused
Yeah.
myself too.
I don't, when I-
Look at your notes, look at your practice quiz, see what they did, what you have for an answer.
So what I'm trying to
practice
use with my
quiz.
is the substitution method. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to use with my, because obviously she did not give us any amount,
For sure,
you know, so I can find the amount to like set it up the way you set it up.
for sure, for sure.
You know, so I'll just like set everything equal to, you know, the total amount, and then use substitution, so.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need the substitution, okay.
So you need.
I'll try, I'll see. if
Well, I'm
it's-
not sure though, I'm just like guessing.
No, for sure. Yeah, let me see. I'll try my way.
I would do, it's easier to do T, cause it's, you're finding time, so it's kind of just. Just do T.
I think that's a good question.
Uh-huh.
Like the equation, do we mean the whole equation, the beginning equation, and the solution after the equation? For just that
What
line?
equation are you starting with? Look at your
The
notes.
equation that we're starting with, so it would be in this case like 5x.
This is a clean equation. This was a clean equation.
That would be a clean equation before it's
I can't tell you to talk to your group, but clean equation. If that's what you're going to solve to get the answer, then that's your clean equation, yes. When you're done, put your homework inside. If that's complete, you need to, turn in your quiz if you took it as a take-home. Make sure you have your Post-it note on the front of your quiz. You can use your notes from last Thursday. If you look at your notes from last Thursday, the quiz looks just like each of the notes.
I'd simplify it as much as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I keep trying to do my work in whichever area.
What did you get? Did you get a big number?
No, so the one that I did, it was too big. So I was like, there's no way.
Right.
So I'm gonna try a different way.
Okay.
So just remember when you're doing these, did you want pencil?
You can't take your phone with you though,
So 70.
Sorry. not when a quiz is out, sorry.
Or, just remember to do the pencil, because we're just gonna do it,
Okay.
and so basically, just try to remember that. And then you set it up good. Yes, that's right. So you must.
Okay, is this your clean equation you got?
I would just until everything is like set up, so we need to do this instead of just do.
Okay.
Don't do any math, I'll just set it up so you use it. And then you can set it up.
What did you get for that? That it?
Oh, you got.
How did you set it up?
Oh, is that
I
only
think
because
I set it
you
up,
just
I
said
set it on my
I've
phone.
only been using one variable. So does this work if it's one variable?
Now you have to.
What's
use
that?
it.
So it's 127.
This one is 127.
I had the equation, then I lost it.
Okay.
Now I
Okay,
can't
so
figure it
that's,
out.
oh,
That's what she said to do, that's what we're defining. You didn't follow the first
Here's
step.
it below.
And then
There,
10
I tried to
second,
use,
so that's why I got
0.41
Okay.
multiply x plus.
Zero point
We're,
six
that's our first step.
And then
Together,
127
this is
minus x
fine.
times 5. So put that over here.
That's what we're defining.
10 plus 5.
Okay.
And then I distribute, obviously.
okay, so her first
So what
one,
was it?
she's paying 41 cents, right? And then for the other ounces,
Right.
she's paying 16 cents. You don't know how many ounces she's
That was
got,
our understanding.
so it's gonna be 16x, right? Yeah, so this is 16x plus 41, and then she has a total of 44 stamps of these two denominations.
Not for a few hours.
No, the money equals,
12.
yes.
So can it?
So where do we have that?
I wrote it down, but it didn't work, so I erased it.
Oh,
I
let
got
me
like
see what
70
you
something.
get. Let me see what you had.
I'm gonna solve five, you already solved five.
I have that.
73 for boys.
Now, she bought 44
So
of
I'll
these
just use
though.
that to check one line.
So it's times 44, this whole thing is times 44.
Oh, so
Who else
it's,
got another
So
thing?
this is for her, we don't know what her weight is, but she bought 16 of these stamps for these two denominations.
Yeah, me too.
So she bought 41 of those, not 41, how many did she buy? 44. 44 of these.
so I was supposed to put brackets at 44.
I think I've got too many things on one side of the equal sign.
Did you finish your quiz yet?
Yes. Okay. Should I turn it in now?
You can, or just fold it up
X
and,
times 40. Yeah, yeah,
You're doing
this
your
is
homework, so
on
you're
that
fine.
side.
you're good.
So that-
So she has, she's, where are we at? The first class mail rates increased from 41 cents for the first ounce and 16 for each additional ounce. So it's 16 cents for each additional ounce. We don't know. So this is the first, and this is for all the rest of them. That's what she's going to pay. If she spent this amount for a total of 44 stamps, okay? So she got 44 of these, so that should be good. Multiple, 44. So you're gonna multiply this And then you're gonna divide, or do an LCD of 100 when you're done.
Okay, thank you.
Does this look better now?
Okay,
Hi, so for the last question,
for
not
today's quiz?
Yeah.
For Monday, yeah.
I'm not sure how to graph
So you
that.
add
because that is-
one, divide by 3. Okay, so this is a little over 7.
Mhm.
So you'd start at 7,
Okay.
and it's
So you don't care
less
if it's
than
not
that.
exact?
No,
Cool.
you just label it down here as somewhere
Oh,
here,
okay.
put a slash, put it as 22.
Thank you.
Exactly.
This is you.
I probably just
This
did one.
This is you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
So,
okay.
yeah, so just like 175 here, which is wrong.
Since the quiz was a take-home quiz, so you've already done it.
Scratch that out.
Okay.
We'll see.
And then
Squint that in.
you haven't done the homework yet, or you did?
I did do day one homework.
Okay, so you can put that in there to get some points.
I moved the decimals by one place for it to go to.
Because I haven't done all those sides, so
Oh, do the day 2 quiz, you gotta do that with your partners here.
Oh boy. You have a different equation, can I see it?
Oh, you can leave anytime you want, whenever you're done with your quiz, you don't have to stay. You're good, no, you're fine.
You've got the 50 minus X is what I can't come up with every time. Yeah, you got, that's
You
good.
get 75 with three?
Makes sense. It's just, yeah, it's just so hard for me to figure out every time. That's the thing about this.
No, you can leave. You don't have to stay, guys. You don't
I
have
just
to
need
stay.
5, so.
Do you have homework?
So that's the amount of bleachers. That means it's bleachers.
What did you get for number 2? It's 5. That's what I got too.
You got that?
Yeah. Alright.
Cause I mean, I think if it's opposite directions, you would have.
Right.
If it's the same direction, you subtract.
Right.
Yeah, cool, perfect. I'm trying my best to do it by looking at my notes, cause I remember it.
Guys, let's cross out 14 and don't do it, don't worry about it. Alright. 14's a nasty problem.
Because I did the equation that you gave me and it came out like a negative number.
I did it last.
Okay, don't worry about 14, or you did them all but 14, go home and party.
Can I get?
Thank you.
Can I get a lenient?
Huh?
I did 14 correctly, I
Oh,
couldn't
good.
get, I couldn't get 12. That's the craziest one.
Okay, what did you do? Let me see. Oh, you don't have the problem again.
So it's just like, you know, I figured everything out as far as like a chart. I just didn't know how to put it out.
That's good, that's good,
Mhm.
that's good. Okay, so it's this plus this equals that. Let me see, let me stop. Oh, wait, stop. Okay, equals 324. Oh, no, it doesn't equal this.
You have to find the width and the depth.
Equals, the interest is 324, equals 324, that's the first one.
Okay.
Because this is an interest problem, it's not a mixture. Yeah. See, there's no point 16 here, is there?
No, see that's what I mean. I added
Yeah,
that
don't,
concept.
you can't, cause that's not the problem, yeah. Yeah, so cross that out, put a diagonal through that, don't erase it, cause you know that's bad, and this is bad, cross it out.
You need to find,
And now put the correct
You need to
answer
find the right
underneath
choice.
is 324,
I got
oh, you got 56, alright, okay.
and now it's this
Okay.
plus this equals your interest. That's what the bank does.
Thank you so much.
No problem, keep asking, that's a good question.
I think you might be right, I see my number one, if you was in number one, yeah, I think you was right. Yeah, I was trying, I came up with a huge number, yeah.
So it's okay, I feel with the number as well.
Oh, how would, definitely times, oh, is this just part of you making the chart?
Yeah, that's.
This is not a true statement anymore?
That's the final. So I just plug that into the equation.
You multiply all of that.
I get right.
See, isn't that, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good, it's
It
good.
looks like a contradiction to me, but I'm not following you well enough to really say that.
We can explain.
Excuse me, Jennifer, what did you get?
75, I got 75 million.
Here's, my thing.
Oh, yeah, put it in your packet. Yeah, so that's, I look at everything in there and you need
So,
more points.
this is
for
how, I usually, I don't use table for this one, I just set it up like this. So they're asking for, number, the 20% is X, because you don't know how much you're gonna add, how much, you're gonna add the 20%, so that's X. You're gonna multiply that by X, and then this one right here in the middle, it gives you 50%, 50 liters of 70%. So you multiply these two numbers, and then in the last one, right, you basically use 40%, right, to multiply the X plus 50.
So hypothetically, if I was using a charter, what would I do for
40 is gonna be
Ask questions, ask your neighbor.
and then. So this would actually be a 50, this would be a 50.
You write that, they can't look at that. If you have a negative that's larger,
And then it's gonna be,
help you with the practice.
could you have 50, you have an X, maybe X plus 50.
Wait, so what's
Oh, you're right, okay, that's where,
Okay, so you put in, so,
The answer is 38.
Yay, that's my
I
girl.
put X plus 50.
Okay, so,
X plus 50.
okay, right here is, you don't know the total points, so this should have 170.
Okay.
Your chart, this should now have
Cause I know my work can be,
So it's this amount of money, plus this amount of money equals your total money. So now where's your chart here?
Yes.
So this
Yeah.
will be your final equation. This is that's what we have it for. That's not.
Was this
Okay.
subtraction that I read?
X equal 5 in the end, on table.
Right, because you have a total and you should have one column be the X, that's your subtraction problem.
That's what you said.
It's a subtraction problem, not an add.
Okay, so.
This is your margarita problem. This is your margarita, this is how much booze you're putting in, and now you gotta tell me how much juice. What do you do? Is it an add problem or subtract?
The base one's gonna be F plus
Okay,
T,
now multiply problem.
and then the second one is gonna be the value of F and T, which is 5 and 10. So I plug those two into there, that's our main equation we're gonna start using. This third one, F equals 1.7 minus T, that's just what we're gonna use to get the rest of our equation, we can just forget about that one for now. So,
It's like
I plug,
Yeah.
what did I do?
Wait, you can't use two variables.
Can use two variables?
No, we're only with one variable right now. You're using the system, that's why you're confusing us.
Yeah, that's.
Okay. I use two variables because it's not.
I understand that. And at the end of the course, when you take your final and I give you this problem, you can solve it. You're a little bit ahead. So, what you wanna do is when you have three things, you have your low, your high, and your total here, you call one of them X, and if they say they have a total of 20 bills, then this one is 20 minus X. This is the tequila problem I gave you.
What do you do with the 127?
And you're calling this one X and this one Y, and
So, so like.
you're solving it as a system,
So
and
this,
we're at,
is that we're
Yep.
gonna use this.
and that's why you're confusing me guys, but you're ahead of me, but the college wants you to be able to solve this using one variable, and then later on with two variables, so they want you to know both strategies.
That makes sense.
So we're still on the right track with doing 3 at least, and on the right track with 5, we've got nothing on 4.
I got 5.
It's probably a minus X, not a plus X, right?
It's gonna be the and girls, it's gonna be.
Because you have a total of 127 bills.
And then I just set it as 10.
This is good. Now this plus this equals your total. Then X stands for your $10 bills, is that what they want?
38 bills.
Okay, 38 $10 bills. And that's all I wanna know is how many $10 bills? Great.
No, total value is.
So the answer for number 2 is 75 really.
So, one right here.
So here,
So it should be 10x minus 5x.
This one.
So,
I'm gonna have to change these from this whole number.
so this one's gonna be 0.7, is 0.75 times 50, 75?
Yeah, if you can't get those two, you just leave them blank,
So
and
now the
then,
$10 bills is
do you
gonna be
see
X.
how on your practice quiz,
Is that correct? The
your
amount of
practice
$10 bills should be
quizzes
X?
and the quizzes are almost identical, so you didn't do anything on the practice quiz? You should be doing this one before you come to class, so you can use this as a research. Look at these two, do you see that they're exactly the same, except they just changed from a point,
See that one?
on a straight road, a high school,
And then the
and a high
third
school.
So now, minus
From a
20x,
point,
this
a high school, here it is. These are the exact, I give you the problems before you have the class. So you shouldn't be stuck on them if you haven't done the practice course. So if you gotta go, then you just close it up and it'll be a low score, so you get your drop one. So that'll be a good drop.
I already like,
Also, this is what I actually did. I actually did, in the dish round, I bought it down 175. Because then once I actually read it, you get a bigger number by 73. And that's where the actually put
This is the, this is the amount.
okay, so instead of 6.5, like, I should just put 50.7. Okay. That's a lot. I mean, yeah, to some degree.
You get it, number one?
Number one, yeah.
The only difference is, yeah, but you have to make a chart, and instead of $1.70, you have $825.
You have all the labels?
And instead of nickels and dimes, you have 5 and 10. So I give you a total, so you have the totals here. So one of them is X and the other is the total minus X. So to give you an example, here I have a total of 3 pages. I'm gonna take away some pages. You know how many? So let's call it X. So let's say I take away 1 page. How many are left?
Touch things in
Let's say I take away 2 pages. 3 take
go
away 2.
7.7
Now, you don't know how many pages I'm gonna take away, but you do know
And
the
so actually,
total.
for me,
What's my total? 127. So put a
170 is
127 there.
outside of it.
And now this one is subtraction. Okay, so is it dimes and nickels? It's $5 and $10, so you can't
Is that
put
point-
dimes
yeah,
and
that's
nickels, you
40.
gotta put an F and a T. It represents $5 bills and the $10 bills. Now, is a $5 bill worth 10 cents? I don't want you to be my number. How much is a $5 bill worth? 5. How much is a 10? This problem is easier than when it's on the practice. What's a $10 bill worth? Is it 10 cents?
Sorry, one more time, thank you. Okay, so.
$10 bill? I don't want you to be
Little
my
idea
number.
while I was out there.
Yes. There's no decimals, this problem is
See if
easier.
there's something that directly compares to our core answers that you'd be able to.
Yeah.
Exactly
That's
what's being referred to where. Was that order?
So you don't even have to now multiply across.
No, I still got
Now it
that.
says your total amount of money is what?
Yes, be 77.
Okay, multiply across, top 2 boxes.
So 184.
Did the light bulb go on?
I mean, it's flickering. It's like, it's doing that
Okay,
little.
but that's better than a total dead bulb, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
See,
flickering.
that's what we're aiming for, this is not everybody mastery. We gotta have it
Oh,
mastered
nice.
by
So, width will be X, right?
February something.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah, whichever variable.
I put W just because that's how both the frameworks,
I'm more of an X goldfish.
And you still got a second group, right? Alright.
I'm more of an X goldfish.
Get your information.
Yep.
So right now you you multiply by 10, you just put 1 0 in the back. You multiply by 100, you put 2 zeros.
5 is the low, 10 is the high. X. can say that whatever X is, we subtract from the center, I do get it. But you have to multiply that by five, that's, there's 5 molecules times that. And that times the molecules. So that's plus 1270 times 10x. That equals 295 plus 1270. Here, you guys can.
Yeah, I did 2 times W plus C, which would be 2 times W. So it'd be 2 times W plus V, and then plus 2W equals.
Bless you.
Thank you. W plus 2L equals 2, wait, I think it's supposed to be, no, I said it equals to 80. And then I just
And you guys finish all of them.
distributed, and I got, by the way,
Distributed, let's make it proper.
With plus 20 times, all times 2 is gonna be 184, right?
You guys want to learn this?
I think we don't jump in on
I'm just taking just my
that. I'm
class.
saying that
I appreciate that.
Good?
Not to avoid that.
I got here with plus week, but, this whole thing is gonna need to be times 2.
Two widths and 2 lengths, yeah.
So I think this,
Okay.
I've never been so mad at a cashier.
Here. I think I've got the equation here.
I can multiply one of
Cause
them.
I didn't do it, they said do it like on number 5.
Does it say twice the width and 20 more?
But again,
Wait, I was copying the numbers of.
So you didn't type in the charts all again? Is it easier for you?
I mean, I understand it that way, but.
Ah, I got you. I got you. Now I'm seeing what you're saying.
You'll have to have the.
It's like the truck, like, to make it, you can say easier.
Mm-hmm.
It is, but like honestly,
Well,
like,
that means that-
like, just think about it. You can just learn, you can just learn.
Yeah, because I think the charts
You
are
can do it both
confusing me.
ways.
They're confusing me. And then she asked for the charts on the thing. She's like, make a chart, make a chart. Like, I'm not asking what she said. The chart is what's going to be like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I get it.
That works, you should say yes, right?
And then you need 2 of them.
Right, that's times 2 outside parentheses. just
Oh,
because
yeah, that is, I
So,
thought that was a light 2 that
X
didn't.
plus 20 times 2 equals
He's
184.
doing it different, he's saying I'm gonna add these 2 together and then double 3 things. You're doubling the first. You're still in a double.
The inverse of it, yeah, but they both work, yeah. Are they both good equation?
When you do a perimeter, here's your rectangle. You have a length and a length.
movie
Yeah.
star?
Okay. You're
You're
calling
doing,
this X and X.
Pyramid,
And the
you know,
length
this,
is
the
24.
formula.
You're calling this X
Yeah,
plus
so
20.
this is the length.
Thank
And
you.
this is the width.
Adding all these together.
Because
But it is
it's
asking for 20 inches
And you
more
have
than.
two
more
of
than the
these.
width, yeah, so that's the length.
Write that.
That's the
Okay,
length.
and you have to multiply.
You substitute, yeah, you substitute the length instead of width.
Okay, I see what you
Yeah.
did.
And then
I see
you
what
have
you
2
did.
of these.
Plus.
It would be on the work sort of copy than on one of these pages.
Oh, yeah, she said you're doing it in your head. Okay.
Must be mixed with 50 liters of soda. equals your room.
4x.
When you get a solution of 40.
44? Is that divided evenly?
What's up?
144 divided evenly by 4?
So that.
More than 30,
36.
36?
That's what I divided it.
So X would equal 36 in that case. And that sounds pretty clean.
Yeah. homework, I don't care about it, if you don't do the homework, you're probably not gonna do well, you quit, so it's always good to do it, but if you haven't done it,
I did the homework, I just, I don't think I did all of it right.
That'd be 60.
yeah.
I got that
So
six.
the homework, you don't get the time.
The lessons have quite the spikes in some of our eyes, depending on our learning modalities, I think.
Okay.
So you'll just see on your little thing.
Then you learn, yeah, 2 times.
It'll go down as a zero, but I'll change it.
No,
It's gonna be
plus 20.
Tell us if we got it right.
Yeah, plus 20, because that's what you put it like.
So 56.
Yeah.
Would you like to maybe join the study or also the tutors? A lot of it, we're just talking to tutors in the library. And they're incredibly helpful.
Yay, we like those tutors, yeah. Oh, we're back to the homework? Okay, number 15.
Well, I thought she said even earlier, she's gonna dock us if we don't
15,
make a
oh,
chart.
okay, this is break time Spanish school districts, they need a
That's what I
chart.
thought I heard. Maybe she was referring
Oh,
to different
nice.
assignments.
Where is she gonna do plus if you don't make a chat?
Bob rises at 7, so label out here the general body information. And then you have Elena.
If we don't make a chat, she's gonna do that too.
It's at 11, that's good.
wait.
And it says in how many
Yeah.
hours, you don't know the time.
If we don't do the table, the chat, is she gonna do that point? Is she gonna come that point?
I think it's a good question.
You're getting the answer.
I don't know, right? I mean,
7 miles per hour is your
and if she did, I'm pretty sure it'd be like
Maybe.
So I always said I would
Maybe
do
one
break
part.
first.
If she can see a version of it,
And
at
then
least you
time,
interpret.
they're starting out in the same direction on the same road, they're still working together. And so multiply across. It's always those 2 boxes and those your.
Yeah, when I go outside and I smoke this one regular cigarette, you know, even though at least it fixed my attitude, even if it didn't
At least 2
yield
boxes
anything.
together. They're going in, they're going in the same direction. Okay,
See, I'm trying to do it without the graph.
Fast guy, mine is.
I find it easy that way, to be honest with
So,
you.
so no, actually, the last two, they don't need
It's
that.
always the fast.
Yeah, the last two don't need
There are, two girls on the board. How many boys are with X? 124 girls. X plus
It's not gonna be a nice
And that's
even number.
We feel.
That's G.
Number
B.
15. Next number, you'll get
That's
15.
X.
Okay.
Alright, number 4.
I run about 200 sleeps in a dream less like this.
Alright.
Sleep.
So,
One
the
T.
movie stars,
Times
two
two.
stars. It's gonna
I've
be
got that
girls
whole
and
equation
boys.
in parentheses, but it's times 2 because it's,
And the second one,
square table.
which is boys, is X.
Yes. We know that it equals 1.
Exactly.
So you have to label it.
I can do three too.
Put it in here, then you got.
That is 4. It's, and is, no, and that's okay.
Number 16 is the same problem, same kind of
You
problem.
were on Taurus with nothing, so. You did that.
That's the bikes again,
So,
same
and
thing.
is, you have to have.
Yeah, if you go that thing, or then you choose the greatest number, if it's
And
n.
then they want to know what's the
I think the light bulb's getting brighter.
I'm on like a 30 watt.
So have you used 29 yet?
Oh, nope, I've got the wrong answer though, I think, for, you had a different
So
answer
by the end of
than
the
I did.
semester, are we on 60 watt?
Yeah, I was like, is
I'm
this
free.
175? But I was like, does that even make sense in this context? Is anything that many liters of anything here?
Perfect.
So this is a minus 22.
That should be times the 50, not times the 2.
So I did the, so what'd you get, so it was 5?
Yeah.
So this is 5.
I'm still thinking it's
What
about
you do,
lunch.
you get the right answer, open.
Okay, please help me with that chart, I have no idea how to do these charts, just equations.
So if they overlap,
Charts or something else.
Yeah, for one more,
Wait, did we get the same answer?
They're going different directions. Now, one's going north,
56?
and
Yep.
one's going south.
Oh, does that overlap?
So both of our equations work.
Yep, north and south, so now it's gonna be an add problem.
It's not just smaller, it's not just weird, because if you flip this upside down.
Got it?
If you flip this upside down, it's the positive, but it's weird.
Isn't math fun?
It's fun if you understand it.
Yeah, it's a puzzle, you know, if you miss a piece,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, the idea is now you practice finding what pieces you're missing, and then when it's 100-point test, that's what these quizzes are all about, seeing what pieces you're missing, and then learn from it. That's when the light bulb goes on.
It all comes together. Alright, thank you so much.
Asking your buddies, did they help you?
Yeah, they got it, we got it, I
Yeah.
got it.
But you need help talking with somebody?
Of course.
Yeah,
helps a
see,
lot.
that's what the whole thing is, you'll be doing that a lot in here, and you'll remember that problem that, oh, that's the one we worked together on, now I remember what to do. How to train your brain to remember all the stuff I'm shoving in there.
Yeah,
Hard.
I got it, I got it.
It is my fault. This is, got it in a roundabout way.
I wanna try this thing.
So there's still two interesting,
Yes. Yeah, and, the length is gonna be, you're gonna figure out, that equation figures out what the width
Oh,
is.
you do all the homework?
Yeah, I got all of it,
You just add
except one,
to it, and I didn't do that.
I did plug and play, but I guess like the way I did it, it just wasn't coming out right.
Well, you finished your homework for today?
You get a
No,
rinse
no,
out.
not for today.
Oh.
No.
Take
Take it easy, take it easy. No, we're talking about the one previous, like the one over the weekend. It was one I was just like struggling with. Like I got all the chart part figured out. Then when it came to putting it into an actual
And then,
problem.
these
Get
farm
it,
travels,
which one was that?
Number
found
12.
is 50 miles per hour slower than whatever you're gonna write for the west.
How would I do this?
So maybe west W or X, whatever you're using.
The
And then
answer,
the
I
east
still
is
need
50
a
miles
chart for it,
slower.
it asks for a chart.
I think I'm
You see
trying
that?
to
It always gets me up.
This is some number,
Look
let's
at it,
say
it's like,
90.
are you not adding?
And this
So-
is
so-
50 miles slower.
Yeah, that's-
Oh, 90.
It's right here.
West.
I don't have it, but it's.
But this is 50 miles slower
Yeah,
than
and then I
that.
think on the.
Yeah, it's the,
This is
What
three,
will
yeah.
I write?
I can bring it up right now.
Let's say I'm going
Oh,
60
you want
miles
to
an
solve
hour
the
in my
equation
car.
now?
Yeah, I
I'll-
So this
You're
one right
going
here.
50 miles
Scissors.
slower. What do you have to
So-
do?
For me,
Yeah, you just start it here
Without
first.
racing. I'm going 60.
Check it out.
Let's make it 6. I'm going 6 miles per hour.
Is there a marker?
You're going 5 miles per hour slower.
so also,
Got this.
How fast are you going?
Straight up. It's the way they burn it, bro. It's like,
I think she said this is like the highest assignment in this class.
Yeah. the work problems are the worst.
I hope that's true.
I hope so.
And this guy is 50 miles an hour, whatever this is, you don't know what it is. but this guy is 50 miles
So
an
this
hour.
is so all the war problems, I know why you get them. It's like we do these ones, we use the whole chart, right? All 9 of them, basically. Like, for the money ones, invest for the coins. You don't use a lot of them. You use it, it's there, but you don't use it. That makes sense. Like it's there to use, like, so you're gonna use the 8,000 to get this answer, but that's about it.
so that's why it confused me, man, because like you said, it's in the wrong place. If they put it over here in the middle, you would think that you have to go down and add them, you know what I mean?
Exactly. See, so and then you also have to remember is low high. You have to keep it low high. if it was high low, then you're gonna put the X, you're gonna give 8 to X. And then you're gonna get it all next one. That 5 has to get the X, and it has to be 8,000 minus the X.
So the low high works for the negative, the low bottom.
Negative, so on everything, even like these ones, even though you don't need it, always remember like just make it a thing that like low, medium. But this is gonna be a low, high. It's not there's no medium, but these yeah for sure. Low, high, medium. So always just see that.
If you give me
That's what it is.
you can trust me to solve equations, you can't trust me to create them.
What's separating all of this?
All of this.
Gotcha.
Do you guys ever?
Yes, sir.
This was
It should
3,
be X minus.
I'm seeing so much steam in this room, your brains are just cooking.
It's probably not.
We're cooking, that's for sure.
It should be X minus.
It takes a village, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
Yes, that's why that's good. The more you learn to play with your village, the better off you're gonna be.
And 0.2
Did
X
she
plus
send that number
35.
Where'd we
to
get?
us, right?
Are we still going? Okay.
So this is how you set it.
Well, I was thinking about using Con's version,
Gotcha. Okay, that works.
I don't know how that works. Have you tried it, maybe? It's like
Oh,
4X.
it's right here. So X is 440, or W is 440.
So do you guys?
The other guy is 50
You guys
less,
have
so
everything
you
down?
gotta subtract 50 from
No.
this to figure
Which
out
one do you
the
not
other
have?
guy.
Uh,
Yeah, because that's what you wrote here. Whatever you got for W, subtract 50.
I don't have a chart for that.
There's no chart for five.
I don't have a chart for it.
Thank you.
I guess
And
there's
number
this one.
3 is not making sense to me.
Is that the last one? That's the last one you have to cultivate?
That's it?
Just 12?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have?
Not
all of it?
miles per hour.
I got ahead though. Oh, I got about ahead.
Hey, we all need help. But, no, everybody's struggling with number 14, I did it like 6 times.
You guys have a chart for
Yeah, everyone showed on 14. I got 14.
What's up? Yeah, like 14, I definitely. But I did
14,
it like,
is that the stamp thing?
yeah, I did it like
Just-
6 times though, and I got
yeah.
it, you know,
Oh, good,
so yeah.
that's fine.
Just gotta
Cross it out,
practice.
it's a big problem, that's not this course.
I had 2 light bulbs in there.
Oh, that's good. Ooh, it was very bright then in that room, wasn't it? Uh-huh. We like that.
For the equation.
Holy smolies, you're handing in a whole book. Yes? Holy schmoly. There's a stapler up there if you wanna keep it all stapled, or if you don't, that's the paper clips up there too. You done?
That's not mine, that's mine.
So you definitely got like this one book, right? Yeah. she didn't know.
Oh, I have a clean equation for 5 here? Or did it not work?
What'd you get?
I think this is the one that we spoke with the teacher.
Cause I know what a negative divided by negative
X
is going to
plus
be
X.
positive, so.
Plus 124 equals 470. That doesn't seem, no.
Equals 470.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I got the equals 470,
Yeah, that's it.
but
But actually, yeah, actually,
Good.
yeah. So this one, it's actually not, it's not gonna be 20. It's gonna be.
okay, do we have any other tables? I wanna catch up on tables for myself.
Is number 6 based on the equals answer?
Yeah, but it's okay. I think
Oh.
that I am just
So I'm
gonna.
subtracting 6,000.
So, I don't know how to explain the chart, I can figure that out, do you know that, solve the problem?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not
equation for year 1 or 5.
Honestly, yeah, that would be, you could do that, that'd be amazing.
Well, okay, I did a different chart because the equation says honestly obtain, so that means that
So actually, we can have to do it. This will be different too. This will be 2 or 12.
Still figuring it out. It's just making, I'm just trying to make sense of it.
That, you know what, at the end of the
Yeah,
semester,
two
you're
legs,
fine, but it's going to say on the first exam, so
I just need to get rid of this parentheses.
equation in one
And
variable.
then everything here, and then everything here up into the front,
College
and
says
then that'll
this,
be
you know how to solve this
2,200.
equation with
Right.
Is that just like this?
Yeah, that's
I got
why
the same thing
I
there
think
too.
it's gonna
but I had
No,
parentheses.
I did it, I just didn't follow the instructions. So I'm just trying to
Now
make
that I
sense
got
of
rid of
it.
that, I've got x plus x plus 124 equals 470.
So,
Same equation you have, yeah?
if you're looking at a chart like this,
So what did you get?
this
So
way you
actually,
multiply.
when I did the 12,
Oh, the stapler? Yep, here we go.
I got that one.
And I know the homework's done, cause we did it
Yeah,
together, right? That was good, and you came in early, you did all the right
This way
things,
you
that's
add,
really good.
this way you multiply, so different to,
That'll work.
x.
You got
It worked, yeah, sort of.
0.78.
But then it also wants, I think it
So
wants,
I
it
already
wants 2
know your
questions. It
homework
wants
for 5 out of 5,
and
you
14
already
and
did
20.
it.
Oh,
So then you put
yes,
the
it
x.
does.
X equals
And that's how you get this equation,
Which goes
that's how
on
you
both
get
of them.
346.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
This is
2200
So I'm gonna write it down as well.
I don't have it.
at 2%.
So,
We're gonna write 2x.
2,000 there.
I think you did, I think.
173.
I'm gonna turn mine.
So, oh, 173, right there. So that equation works.
Here you
You
are.
good?
Yes,
So you're not turning in the homework?
yeah, that's the,
And then
well,
you can
I'll
add
turn, if
124
you'd
to that
like
to
me
get
to, I can
those,
turn
right?
homework in on Wednesday. I'll bring it back, for sure.
So
Okay.
173 plus
You got anything else,
124
I'm good, brother. Thank you so much.
equals gross.
What do you remember?
And this man homework can be inside all weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
I was like,
No.
So we're gonna get docked if we don't have a chart?
No.
Oh,
anytime,
I'm sorry.
I probably gonna bug you. Like, hey, I don't stuck,
How do you
man.
spell your name?
Cordero, C-O-R.
C-O-R.
D as in dog, E-R-O.
I need to, personally, to make an equation, it's better for me to focus with a correlation, although this will help.
Oh, okay.
You saw it the way
Please
Book
do.
does?
I'm gonna forward you the other people's number too.
Math.
Alright, brother, what was your name? Kevin, you, Cordero.
Cordero, nice to meet you.
Yes, sir, brother. Have a good day, man.
You too. Yeah, have a good day. I'll see you later.
You too.
Yeah, but we stayed with me at Blue Place.
It's just,
You have your class here?
I think it's just.
Or you on the phone?
No.
You have your class here? Your next
It's at
class?
12:45, but it's virtual.
Oh, that's
So number
right.
Yes,
one,
I'm here to take over.
Oh, I see, I see.
Number one,
Good?
Yeah.
anybody?
How was it?
Or just
Brain
number one?
scratching, but finally got it.
We
Nice.
get an
Yeah.
equation.
Okay. Here's this, I'm gonna steal. Okay, thank you, guys. My brain hurt. You guys worked so hard.
One more, it's that one.
Did you ever think you'd spend 2.5 hours in a math class?
2.5 hours?
That's almost what you spent.
I've spent more, don't worry.
You should
Spent
let me
more?
finish
I've spent more before.
Oh,
In high school, I did almost 3.5.
really?
So, that was a long class.
Well, I spent the whole weekend on homework, so.
Oh, don't do that. You gotta email me or get the emails of who's in your little group here and just say, you know, Can you send me a picture of your, oh, I got it, send me a picture of it. And you learn from others' work.
Absolutely. I learned.
Yeah,
Thank you.
don't waste your whole weekend, math is not where it's at.
Do you have Snapchat?
Have what? No.
What's a Snapchat?
How intrusive is it?
Social media.
It's literally just like texting, but better.
I don't know what a
Okay.
Snapchat is.
Social media platform. It's kind of like, what I say, it's kind of like Facebook.
Huh?
It's kind of like
Okay.
Facebook.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
but a Snapchat, oh,
Yeah.
is that where you talk to each other then?
Yeah, you can talk to people on
Oh,
there.
Guys can find my
okay, but so
emails,
Facebook, you don't
they,
talk to people,
No,
right?
you can talk to people on Facebook.
my
Oh, you
email?
can?
Yeah.
Is your name?
By typing
Okay.
or just chit chat?
I think, you can do both.
Okay,
Oh.
Yeah, I think they have a video call
I'll
now.
give you my phone number, but
Oh,
here's
I
the
think
deal.
so.
I just
I
need to
didn't
know
know
you're
that.
not spam.
Yeah.
So you gotta be like,
Oh, well.
hey, this is me from class.
Oh, gotcha.
Because we are in a data war and I'm attacked.
What, Chris, do you have the homework?
I was stuck on a couple of problems, so I need to get back and do those.
Okay, so I'm just gonna
But I
write on
really
here
just
that there's
wanted
no
to
homework
number
turned
one
in,
now.
right? So, and then when you turn it in, you say the change, okay?
Yes.
What number, oh, you're number 9?
Yeah, I forgot one of them.
Yeah.
No, I need to figure out number one.
Can you help with number one?
You help with
Some
number one
homework
for
on
sure.
the back. I just wanna let you
Um,
doc for those.
Scribbles,
just
I
a
ran out
minute.
of eraser.
Oh, good, thank you.
So I don't have to make a chart.
4,
That's what I
5,
almost started
6,
getting for
7, 9,
equation.
okay,
was
what
wrong
do you
and I
got?
was
Oh, I
done.
just have more
So I know,
work on
I
the
got the
page.
equals 825.
Okay,
Thanks for number
which,
three.
number 3? Oh, you already told me that.
We'll make like a
Just make
snap.
notes.
Okay.
I'm gonna take another crack at the homework, so I'll come out in Wednesday.
No, homework number 2. Okay,
I,
and so
I'm
you
not-
turn it in, just
I
for
need to
change.
catch up to understand
You need
these
to
charts,
learn
but I
to
promise that will
ask
take forever.
questions.
So-
And really,
So I just
really,
need to, well,
you know,
what'll be important
use
is that I
those
find out the
around you
calculation.
to help you. Did
Thanks
help
for the
today when
explanation.
you were on the board, and
So,
that's what you gotta do, and when you do that, it'll click.
so,
Cause you'll remember working that problem on the board when you take your exam and stuff. You gotta do that, you know. You remind me of me in language arts. I can't spell the. So I use resources to help me spell the.
Is that a magic
And
rub?
you've gotta do that in math, and you'll be fine, but you gotta work real hard and do that
27
homework every
minus
day.
X is
When
what I
you get
learned in
stuck,
one of
I
these
gotta be your
parentheses,
best
huh?
friend. Take a picture where you're stuck, email it me and just say help.
And I am correct though that on the equals side, we have 825, right?
I feel like if I email you, I'm gonna be like, oh god, I'm gonna be burning these out, I'm like, that's not really the case.
No,
So, and now it's gonna be X times
no,
5 plus
you
this.
don't fight yourself, you know.
Just send the email like, help, please.
But show me a picture of it. You can't just say, I don't
Oh,
get
yeah.
problem number 13, I gotta say, where are you stuck, you know?
If I have an equation,
Here's
I can
where I
solve it, but
started,
if
I
that-
don't know where to start, you know, here's what I got. Can you tell me, if that's
Oh,
right,
okay.
you know, that kind of thing. You know, and then use those around you, walk it, talk it, eat it, drink it, smoke it, and you'll learn it a lot better, right?
So
Alright.
X plus 10 times
You
that.
Wednesday.
Huh?
See you Wednesday, and I
5X.
think, I'm not gonna be here on the 12th, I have a funeral.
Okay,
Okay. You gotta look on the schedule.
I'm very out of eraser.
It's not 12 next Monday. That's right, it's when it comes close, like the day before, whatever, like, I'm sending him a copy of what's on the board, so I can do that for you. And then you need to either plan on going to the tutor before the 12th and say, can you go over this, here's my notes, can you go over this with me? Or come early or come late, or look at my notes, or email me and say, can you send me my notes, and I can leave it.
I'll probably send it out because the service doesn't start until 10. So it's,
Okay.
yeah.
No, but I'm saying do it before. So I know. Okay. Tim, don't forget your phone over here.
Absolutely. Yep.
Four for which one? Which one number is this?
This one is one.
Number one?
Number one.
Oh,
You have any questions?
I think we got it wrong then. We got I think 38.
Oh, no.
I think.
This one is.
I was telling my, yeah.
Mm.
Negative 5x.
That yours?
Yeah. Okay, number one? Yeah, we got 38 for number one.
Now I'm gonna divide by 5.
This is,
That's right. Oh, yeah, it's right.
38,
Because,
45.
this is just the X. You have to
Divided
plug this into
by
the
127.
89. Is it 89? Did I get, yep, you got the same, I got the equation, cool, thank you.
Should be 38.
So,
Cause you have to plug it into 127.36, cause this is the amount. So it's asking for how many $10.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
So this is the amount that there is, this is the variables, and this is the value.
isn't the answer always gonna be x over here?
No, it's gonna be, because this is a
Oh,
word
wait, what
column,
did it say? It said how many $10 bills?
so you might wanna put that into it.
Whoa, I gotta check over my answers for that real quick, okay. So, but, well, okay, x did equal 89. And 8.9, right now.
89, so put that into 127.
Okay.
330.
Should be 38.
Yeah. It's not,
Sure.
you dividing it? No, it's not, it's just 127 minus X.
So 127 minus x, cool. Oops, sorry. 38. Thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah, now, I'm just gonna, now I'm gonna go over that and make sure that, I've got the right answers. I've said what x equals for everything.
Yeah,
but-
so
And that'll be
it's
enough to
your
find
votes.
out.
That's a good idea.
Thank you. How many hours?
Sorry, yeah.
And
No, it's-
60 miles of water.
Or this, like this thing.
I think x is the amount of miles of this one.
So,
Or,
alright, so you might want to, turn this into, so this is y minus 8, negative 1 times y is negative y, negative 1 times 4 is negative 4 is y, right? So, reduce this.
so this
y
one's
minus
like,
y
it's
equals
hard
roots.
to do one boxes.
I thought there was that more to it.
Sorry, can I interrupt?
Oh, sure.
Where this, was the answer to the dimensions, does that mean that the answer on the right is supposed to be x?
Now, you got width is 36, tell me, say inches.
Inches.
6 inches, or
Okay.
whatever one I'm at. Am I asking for both?
Yeah, you're asking for both, but then
What
there
are
are
the
those two
dimensions?
fields.
Yep. Got it.
So will I just put x for the answer?
No, over here I'm looking for who gets the plain variable? Is it the width or the length? Which one?
It was
did
the
you-
width,
Okay, so this should be x, cause that's what you're
that
saying.
is x.
You don't have an x there. This is defining the unknowns, it doesn't say give me the answer. Over here is the answers. Okay, so over here, you need to say your width is x, and
So
then
you want
what's
two
the length?
variables here on this one?
Yes,
So
when
you want to
we,
say,
That's
Here.
out of,
give me your notes, use your notes.
oh, my notes are just a bunch of paper.
Okay, did you turn in your homework?
Oh no,
No homework? Okay, I just write it on here, no homework. number 2, just so you remember to give it to me the next time. It'll be a 0 out of 5 until it's turned in, okay? Good job.
There's no late penalty?
Not for homework, no.
Oh.
But it will be a penalty if you don't do it and then you take a quiz on it that day, you need to do it, you know. If you haven't finished this one, that's okay, but don't do it every day, right?
Oh,
Everything else I thought you stressed each time to
Where's your
only use
packet?
one
No
word.
packet.
The workbook?
The notes, white, big, fat, white, fat, that one.
Workbook.
Okay.
Notebook, okay.
Now, if you look at, this is day 3, day 2, okay. So, if you look at day, do you see how we have for US medals, or for Canada medals, we said X, and then US medals is 6 more, it says, or 5, that's 5. Five
That's
more.
five. That's
Yep.
5 more.
So that's what I'm looking to have on your quiz. Now watch, look. Then you took these 2 things and put it equal to here. That's called a clean equation.
Yeah, I got that there.
And your final answer needs to be over here, that you gotta label it who has 19 medals and who has 24. So over here I
On this
need-
line, I wanna write all the dimensions of the carpet.
Yeah, I want
Okay, or both.
36 by
Okay.
whatever it is, da-da-da. And when I say define the unknowns, you gotta tell me who's gonna
X and
get
its
the-
correlation.
You gotta tell me the name of Mr. X. Who's getting the X? Is it the width or the length? Is it the $5 or the $10?
Well, it says define width, so define width would be X. And
Okay.
then length would be X plus 20, is that correct?
Perfect, that's
Yes.
perfect, yay, that's perfect, yes. Okay, so I got my seating chart right. And this is gone, and this is gone. Yay, I did it right.
So in this case, boys is X, girls is X plus 20.
Perfect, that's sounding good already. Toma Berry,
Huh?
is that correct?
Yeah,
You got 100 on the quiz.
thank you.
Did you get all the equations correct? Yes.
Thank you.
Look at you, you worked your butt off, didn't you?
I'm trying,
Yeah. Nice job.
thanks. I hope I do the same on the test.
You will, because you know
Yeah.
what? I give you a practice exam,
Okay.
and we spend a whole day just doing the practice. There's no notes, it's just, you're gonna be doing exactly what you did today on
Okay.
this with the practice exam, and the practice exam looks just like the real exam.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
yeah, I want everybody to get 100. You're doing everything you're supposed to do, that's
Right.
good.
How many hours will they be 60 miles of probability? 5 hours? Well, if
Yeah, if you solve for T, you're gonna get what the answer is.
yes, so 5 hours. Cool. So what I'm doing right now is, I'm going over everywhere that I just said X equals this, and making sure it wasn't asking for something more specific, like that was 5 hours, not just X equals 5, so.
Right.
Number 3 is asking for. $70 years. was solving for X to find that amount of liters, so 70 liters. So dimensions with comma separation. Today is the 29th, hope I get that right.
Yes.
If you can read it, then I think I won. So that sounds super familiar.
I know they play the piano every day that I'm in here.
I just need to find the quiz that I just did now. So the protocol is to fold this all together, put the sticker on it and turn it in, or leave it there on my seat.
Leave it like this, yeah.
Ow. Return torque. Jeez. Oh my goodness, this is my stuff too, so now. Where did I put my tent?
What?
My tent.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm saying I pack a lot. Wait, did we get a packet of homework? Anybody?
Packet of homework, what do you mean?
Yeah, didn't we
It's
have?
online.
It's,
All the homework says
oh
online.
yeah. My goodness, it recorded all of it. That's amazing.